Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the FB4 Daily for Tuesday, the 9th of July. Today's show is brought to you by another great sponsor. He was with us last week, he's back with us again today. It's Entire Design. Find him on Twitter at Entire Design _ or Entire Design on. Find him on Twitter at Entire Design _ or on Instagram at Entire Design. Jimmy is the main man there. He's given me two lovely prints to give away. I'll probably do that next week. I know one of them is of Klopp and one is of Virgil van Dijk. I'll give them away together and post them to one of you, whoever wins, and we do a little competition on that next week. What was I going to say? Where are we going to start today? I'll tell you where we'll start. Asensio. Asensio is the man at the moment. That link has come out this morning. I don't know how reliable it is, but I think he was linked to us before, maybe last year. I read one tweet this morning saying that it was 65 million euros was bid. How true is it? I don't know. I really don't. The other part of the tweet I read was that Real Madrid wanted a buyback option. Liverpool aren't willing to do that. They're willing to go and, you know, put this money up for this guy, and that's it. The deal is done. But we'll have to wait and see what way that goes. What do we think of Asensio as a player? Anyone? What do we think? You know, he's a good player. He's played for Real Madrid. He was touted as the next big thing. And then it's gone a bit quiet for him. It's gone a bit quiet. Liverpool. Chris says there, saw a tweet that Madrid wanted a buyback clause. That's exactly what I say, and it's probably the exact same tweet. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. That done the tweet. Someone might help me out. Chris, maybe has seen the same tweet. But Asensio, you know, again, regarded as one of the next big shining light at Real Madrid when he was signed. I think he signed for about £4 million. It may have been Malaga. I think it was Malaga he came from, but it's star rose and then it's gone back down again. He's I don't know how much game time he's getting for Real Madrid, but I haven't heard an awful lot of him since I think we were linked last summer. I haven't heard an awful lot about him. If any of you have heard a lot about him, listen, stick it in there, stick it in the comments, and we'll have a chat about him. As I move on, if any comments come in about Asensio, we can always go back to him. As I said, there's very little structure to what we do here. We'll talk and we'll see if we'll see what comes up. Superb talent would thrive under Klopp, but will be happy to be rotational. Do you think so, Chris? Because would it not be a guy that again would look to be moving on his career onto the next step? You know, he's probably been rotational at Real Madrid. He comes to Liverpool and he's the same. Maybe he gets more opportunity at Liverpool. Maybe he's played in a preferred position at Liverpool. I'm not too sure. But again, we always go back to this, Chris. You know, you strengthen your squad, and if that guy's playing well enough and he's to be in the team, he's in the team. Is there any clout to this rumour? I really don't know. It was a tweet I kind of briefly seen earlier, and then one or two people sent it on to me, and I read it. I read it and I thought, okay, fair enough. I read the comments afterwards. A few people seem to think that this guy that put out the tweet is quite reliable. So we don't know. Grizz is here and he says it does make Asensio. Oh, Grizz, you're thinking of that one all morning. I really do. Kevin O'Sullivan says it sounds like Madrid need to sell to buy. Are people putting 2 + 2? Maybe so. They've brought in a few players, namely Hazard. They may need to get 1 or 2 off their books, but they obviously, if the talk of a buyback option is in there, this guy is obviously highly rated by Real Madrid, and although they probably want to get him off the wage bill and get him out and playing, they probably want an option on him back. I can't see Liverpool agreeing to that. I really can't. Liverpool aren't going to develop a player for what does a buyback clause probably lasts about 2 years. I can't see them developing for 2 years and then get a buyback at what could be 75, 80, 90 million euros. Lewis Scott says one of these names that keeps coming up in most windows, like what happened with Rice and Isco for years. Yeah, absolutely. The one I always remember was Simão from Benfica. That went on every single year with Simão. I think we signed him about 8 times. Roos the same. You're right. The account that I read it from was Jimmy McCann. That's the one. I think I seen on his bio is he a former agent. Listen, this guy Jimmy McCann could be just putting one out there. You know, we had one last week about a winger that some taxi driver in Liverpool made up, and it went viral. So you never really know. But look, anyone, Asensio, do you watch a lot of him? Do you watch a lot of Real Madrid? What do you think of him? Where would he fit? Is he predominantly left-footed, if I can remember rightly? Where would he fit in this squad? What could he bring to us? Throw your comments in there, and we'll certainly have a look at. Only way a buyback would work is they pay extra to take him. Yeah, they probably would, but would you be willing to pay 65 million in order for 2 seasons later they come along and give you 90? Is 25 million enough compensation for a player that could become integral to what you're doing? You know, it's a glorified loan, really, isn't it? I know it's a lot of money, 25 million on top of what you paid, but you know, you've seen there last week Lukaku was talking of 10 million for 2 seasons and stuff like that. Where is Grizz to confirm this story? I don't know where Grizz is today. I was chatting to him earlier, but I'm not too sure where he is at the moment. But he will be back on Sunday, absolutely back on Sunday. I know Matt will be back on Sunday, and he is absolutely raring to go if the chats I've had with him today are anything to go by. So Sunday at 8:30, and you'll get all the Grizz and all the Matt that you want, and some of me, and you know, it's like this show, but there's 3 of us, and it's a little less PC. But look, Asensio, let me know what you think. Try your comments in there. We'll certainly have a look at it, and we'll go from there. On the club last night, I listened to the club podcast this morning. You had Andy, you had Ray Dickinson, you had Shawnee Lawson. You had Phil, and you had Gar. They had a good, really good discussion around Klopp. When he came to the club, what he brought when he came, the expectations he's raised, the structures he's put in place at the club, and you know, where do you see us going from here? And all of this has come around because of contract talks with Klopp. There's 3 years left on his deal. There's talk. I know Grizz is adamant that there's a contract offer in place, and he will sign it. Grizz is absolutely adamant that this contract will be signed on an extension. A few other people I've spoken to aren't so sure. They think that the 7 years will be the limit for Jurgen Klopp. Me, I have a little feeling he will sign it. I think, you know, Mainz was big for him, Dortmund was special for him, but I think he's found his actual home in football at Liverpool. I really do. He just looks like he's enjoying the job. He looks like he's enjoying the challenge, and the likes of Man City are pushing him on. You know, he's a European Cup winner now, and that monkey's off his back. I can only see Klopp going from strength to strength. Let me know, what do you think? Klopp, does he sign a deal? Does he not sign a deal? I would. I'd be on the side of him signing. Chris agrees. Chris says Klopp will sign. They're probably looking at a 2 to 3 year extension, which will bring him up to 2025, which is another 6 seasons. When you say it and it's another 6 seasons, it sounds like an awful long time. But if Jurgen Klopp continues to do what he's doing at Liverpool, 6 seasons won't be enough. So let me think if or let me know. Sorry, if that. What do you think on Klopp? Will he run out his contract 3 years? Will he sign an extension? You know, his agent has mentioned different things about, you know, if Lowe at Germany ever decides to call it a day, Klopp would like to be in the frame for that job. Let me know what you think. Do you think he will extend or stay on the contract he's at? Kev says the thing with it could be burnout, but he surrounded himself with a team that takes pressure off. Absolutely. You know, there was talk last week, and it's something that we didn't cover because I think it's been covered a hell of a lot, was the departure of Buvac. The story is that Pep Linders was having more and more of an influence, and Buvac kind of felt a bit put out by that. And although a very, very close friend of Jurgen Klopp, and I presume they are still to this day, it was something that Buvac felt that, probably both parties felt, look, this is a really strong friendship we have, but it's not working out work-wise. They didn't want to burn all bridges, and that's the way it went. Pep Linders has come in. Pep Linders, to me, we spoke about Gerrard yesterday, and probably Gerrard's want to be Liverpool manager one day. Pep Linders is way up the road, way further down the road, I suppose, than Steven Gerrard, in my opinion, to being a Liverpool manager. Liverpool, Chris says, if the national team job comes available, then it may make him think twice. It may do, but I think he's probably at a bit of a crossroads here. We don't know what happens with Lowe. You know, there's a Euros next year, and then you have a World Cup 2 years after that. Is Klopp looking at that thinking that could be the time when the Germany job comes available in 3 years' time, right at the end of his contract? It could be something like that. You never know what sort of feed or word he get from the German FA with regards to that. But look, we just have to wait and see. As I said, there's a couple of people, Grizz included, that's adamant that he will sign this contract extension. But just on Klopp, I want if you want to tell me your favourite moments from Klopp, favourite quotes, you know, different bits and pieces, because he's an entertainer. He's such a huge character, both on camera, on the touchline, and even, you know, people that speak about him around the club say what a huge character he is. But when you look when he came in, we didn't know what direction we were going in, and I'm paraphrasing a bit here from last night's show, because there was a lot of points on that show that really got me, you know, where Shawnee and Andy and Phil and Gar and Ray were talking about, and he really came in and gave a direction to the club. And I think he was quite cute in what he done. He felt his way in. I think the timing was perfect. I think if he'd have come in at the start of that season, you know, we lose to Stoke, we get hammered by Stoke. If he comes in, and in that summer, I think there was more expectation on him. He comes in the October, I think it is, and he gets that little buffer of, you know, 7-8 months where he can go through the season. He can show what we want to be about. He can get the players to work. He gets a good long look at the players for 6-7 months, and then he starts to really put his plan into place. We didn't have a direction with regards to transfers. You know, there was a lot of stuff about transfer committees and different things like that, but he's come in and everyone knows the position now. Everyone knows what they have to do, what their job to do is, what the expectations are, and that's a lot of that is down to Jurgen Klopp. We don't hear about transfer committees anymore. We might hear about Michael Edwards a little bit, because everyone knows that the club will back you. Michael Edwards is the man that comes to him. He speaks to Michael Edwards. Klopp has given us a brilliant infrastructure within the club, a brilliant direction in which we're going, a massively solid foundation to move on, whether it's with him or whether it's, you know, whether he runs down a contract and goes, and he has to be held in such high regard. You know, Shawnee last night said it feels a bit like Shankly and Paisley. You know, you know, Rafa came in 2004 and wins the European Cup, but you know, Rafa was brilliant at Liverpool, but you could see the cracks starting to appear with the new owners and different things, and there was a fracture in that relationship, and you know, Rafa was never going to win that battle. You know, we got rid of him too early, in my opinion, because look who you brought in afterwards. I don't even want to say the guy's name, but you know, he was always losing that battle, and it was always on a knife edge with Rafa and the owners and even the media and stuff like that. But now Klopp, Edwards, FSG, you know, whether it's Pep Linders, the backroom team, the squad itself, right down to tea ladies and the media team at Liverpool, everything seems to be so in harmony and pushing in the one and the right direction. So that's the biggest thing for me that Klopp's done. Alright, winning the European Cup is unbelievable. He'll want to win a league, but just the atmosphere around the club itself, around the ground when you're over there, you know, it's so different to 4 years ago or 2011, 10-11 when we were in trouble, 2015 when he takes over. It's night and day. You know, the buzz around the place is unbelievable. From doubters to believers, change the mentality from day one, says Chris. Absolutely. The boom on TV, Jordan's interview, yeah, another massive thing. 67 games. Jurgen Klopp surely doesn't think the front three will play most of these. What is plan B? Yeah, what is plan B? And touching on that a little bit, you know, the news today is that Shaqiri has torn his calf muscle. All he said was he'd be out for a while. You're probably looking at him getting in on the back end of pre-season, hopefully. It's a blow for Shaqiri. He's one name I mentioned you know, not long ago, about he's another one that needs to get into this pre-season and make his mark a little bit like Wilson does, or you know. And it's a blow for Shaqiri. He started off quite well at Liverpool last season. He had a really hot patch around Christmas, where he beat United with 2 goals. He's the man they're looking to, and then he goes off the boil a bit. There's one game at Old Trafford where he comes on and he's awful. He's awful in a game that we should have won. That was a hard one to take that day. But then he kind of comes back near the end of the season and he's getting 2 look-ins. He's a great game against Barcelona in the semi-final of the European Cup when his first half wasn't great. He was giving it away and he was kind of caught out of position, but he really knuckled down second half and provides the assist for Wijnaldum's equaliser. So it's a blow for Shaqiri, because he's another guy that needs to get kind of set pre-season alight and really put himself back in the manager's eye line, and I suppose hoping to make himself that first option. Where we're talking about Origi or Brewster or lads in midfield, making him that option where he says, yeah, I can trust this guy. So hopefully he's back sooner rather than later, and we'll see how we go with that, and we'll update you on any injuries that come around because they will happen over pre-season. Lads get niggles and stuff. A lot of players are starting to filter their way back now into training. Big Divock arrived back yesterday. A couple of players are back. I think there's a couple more back today and tomorrow and stuff like that. So they'll start coming back. I don't know how many of them will be ready for Thursday. I can't see many of them being ready for Thursday. You'll see a youngish side there mixed with your experienced lads that weren't away during the summer. What's my thoughts on Neymar and Griezmann refused to arrive at pre-season? There's 2 sides to this, Chris, to be honest with you. The Griezmann one is strange. All the talk was that Griezmann had agreed to go to Barcelona. Alright? This is my take on this. I'm not fact checking or anything like that. This is my take on it. Griezmann deal to Barcelona was done and dusted. Atletico Madrid went and spent a lot of money on Joe Felix and gave him the number 7 jersey. I presume that they're presuming that Griezmann is off to Barcelona. I get a little feeling that Atletico Madrid might have overspent there and feel they need more money up front off Barcelona, and Griezmann may be caught in the middle. He may have a right to do what he's doing. They've taken his number 7 jersey off him. They've supposedly agreed to deal to Barcelona, and then nearly hijacked their own deal at the end by saying, no, I think they were saying they wanted all the money up front, which is unheard of nowadays. The only way you've seen that was Neymar going to PSG when he had to buy himself out. But it's a bit like someone saying there, Barca look like they need to sell to fund Griezmann. They probably do now if they're being asked for this 120 odd million up front, or whatever the deal was. It's a bit of a strange one with Griezmann. Neymar, on the other hand, is a completely different issue. And I seen a brilliant tweet the other day with regards to Barcelona. Barcelona have done this with Suarez, they've done it with Dembele, they've done it with Coutinho, and they're doing it again. And what they tell a player is, don't show up. Don't show up for training, tell them you have an injury, and play the waiting game, and we'll eventually do the deal. I have a feeling that's what's going on with Neymar. Now Neymar, in fairness to him, and in fairness, as much as I'll slate Barcelona over this, Neymar has form. Neymar went and got himself bought out of a contract at Barcelona in order to move to PSG. He has form, but listen, these guys are professionals under contract and contracted to football clubs, much like me or you or anybody else is contracted to the work we do. So we have to show up for work. You can't just turn around one day and go, oh, I'm not turning up. It's a strange one with Neymar, but I'm not surprised. Griezmann one is a little bit more murkier, but I do get the feeling that Atletico may have changed the goalpost on Barcelona a bit there, and the player may be upset. That's my take on it. I don't know if you agree. Lash it in there and we'll have a chat about it. I've no issue with people disagreeing with me or indeed proving me wrong. That's just my take on it. But listen, Barcelona are no fucking, sorry for cursing, but Barcelona are no, sweet little kid that wouldn't do anything on you and as innocent as anything else. They're not like that. So before we start feeling a little bit sorry for Barcelona, they've done enough to other teams at times, so they're probably getting their medicine a little bit, and they've stalked Griezmann for a year or two, quite publicly, and Atletico might be just throwing something back at them now, just knowing they're probably going to lose the player, but let's make it a little bit difficult. You know, Kevin O'Sullivan said this stuff is what puts me off Dembele. He did the same with Dortmund. Yeah, you see that this is what happens, but the common denominator there, Kev, is Barcelona. You know, like Coutinho was playing and fine, and next thing he had a back injury, and the hardest injury to prove in football is a back injury. You know, the hardest thing to do in football is prove a back injury. All you have to do is say it's hurt me. You can do as many scans as you want, but it still hurt me. You know, Liverpool, Chris says Barca played a dirty transfer game. How can they afford Griezmann and Neymar? They can probably do it. The Neymar deal could be anything to do with sponsors and stuff, but the Griezmann one can probably be done if they're asked to put 50 million up front and 10 million for the next 5 years. You know, it's something like that. That's the way transfers work. You get a lump sum up front and the rest is put over the term of the contract. So it can be done, but the Neymar to PSG one, from what I understand, is completely different. That was just a straight check out of the contract because it was a buyout clause, as all players in Spain have as a buyout clause. But look, we'll have to wait and see on them things. I do feel a little bit sorry for Griezmann from the way I'm looking at it. But as I said, if anyone else out there can prove me wrong and tell me what's happening, you know, walk away, let me know on Twitter, on this, on YouTube, on wherever you want. Somebody's there asked what's the latest with Bruno Fernandes. We've heard nothing else on Bruno Fernandes, perfectly honest with you. You know, the last thing in the media was that his agent was in England, was it last Friday? In around late last week, maybe over the weekend. Again, nothing's come out of that. A few United podcasts, and I think Mark Goldbridge as well has gone quite heavy on Bruno Fernandes, because the talk is around United agreeing a deal with him. As I said, all we were told and we were informed was that we had no issue with what we could pay him and stuff like that. It was about the deal with Sporting Lisbon. I don't know what's going to happen there. Bruno Fernandes is another name on another list. You know, if you look now, Bruno Fernandes linked, Asensio linked, Dembele linked. There's loads of these attacking players that are being linked. So Bruno Fernandes, haven't heard anything on it. United fan forums and podcasts and you know, live broadcasts like this, particularly Mark Goldbridge, have gone heavy on Bruno Fernandes along with Harry Maguire. But again, all these things are going on. There's nothing happening. So someone says here, Bruno is a Liverpool player in time for the friendly against Sporting Lisbon. 42 million, it's done. That's a dangerous thing to say on the internet and on a public forum. It really is. But look, if that's what you think and that's what you believe, listen, that's completely your prerogative. Again, I haven't seen a hell of a lot of Bruno Fernandes. It's just somebody that's being linked. I know lads that rate him really highly. His stats look really good. We never know. But these deals aren't being done over a weekend. These deals are being built on and worked on for 6 months to a year beforehand. That's how clubs work nowadays, especially with regards to contracts and getting them in place and payment deals and different things like that. So, look, if you believe Bruno is a Liverpool player, fair play to you, because if he does sign for Liverpool, there'll be a hell of a lot of United fans out there unhappy. I don't know how unhappy I'd be if he signs for United, because again, personally, I haven't seen a hell of a lot of them. We're going to finish up. If there's anything else you want to say in the next minute or two while I do the last few bits, walk away, and if they grab me, we'll keep talking. But as I said, the club, sorry, Chris says, any update on Firpo? No, just these Firpo things that were said the other day. I think they're a bit wide of the mark. Valuing Origi at 10 million is a bit mad. One thing on Origi I did read was that, and it wasn't her direct tweet, but somebody tweeted and put her in as the source of the tweet, or the, you know, and it was Melissa Reddy saying that Divock Origi is on the verge of signing a new improved contract with Liverpool. So that could be, you know, that kind of knocks that Firpo thing on the head, because there was talk of 45 without him and 35 with him. If we are going to sign that guy, you're probably looking around 35 without him, if, to be honest with you. But you never know. Potential left back. No, nothing else has come out yet, Chris. That's being honest with you. Not that I've seen. Again, if any, I do look through Twitter and the internet and stuff like that, but I haven't seen anything on him. But as I said, if anyone else has, walk away, let me know, and as I said, we talk about it. But look, the club was there last night. It's there for download. It should be up on YouTube to listen to. It's It should be on Spotify. It's on all your podcast apps. It was really good last night. I really enjoyed the talk around Klopp, and from when he took over to now. I really enjoyed. There was some talk about Graham Souness and his comments. I think it was yesterday in a couple of publications with regards to players and different people stealing livings within the game. And then the lads went a bit mad about VAR and Jamie Carragher walking around studios with VR headsets on them, which amused me towards the end. But look, that's been us for today. Great to come on and chat again. Let me see, when are we back? Tomorrow's Wednesday. Should be back around 3 PM again. If there's any change to that, of course I'll let you know via Twitter. One last one, any updates on Ziyech? Looks like a player. The only thing I've seen about Ziyech was he was linked with a move to, was it Sevilla in Spain? I thought it was a Spanish team, and he didn't really seem up for it. I think he's looking for something bigger. Haven't really heard that with regards to Liverpool though. But yeah, that's been us. That's been the show today on Tuesday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll be back around 3 o'clock. I will let you know if anything changes on that. Today's show is being brought to you by Entire Design. Jimmy is the main man there. If you go on to @EntireDesign_ on Twitter, click on his link to his shop. You'll see how really good he is. He's top notch. You can get him on Instagram as well, Entire Design. But that's been it. That's been the Fatback 4 Daily for today. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Any links, anything you see, let me know, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Alright. Talk to you then. Over now.